Hello everyone, welcome back to Clusterbmilkshake. I'm your host, along with support puppet Mr. Chicken. Yes. Today, we are going to talk about why a narcissistic person or other cluster B can detach from you so quickly. And it's called emotional amnesia. Now, I did a video on dissociative amnesia, and it goes really in depth with all different avenues, situations, what happens to you when you get out of a relationship. And I am going to put that in the description, okay? It's a longer video, so you can watch it if you want to get more meat and potatoes going on with this information. But I was watching a video on a woman talking about dissociation, and she was talking about the emotions. And I'm always trying to tell you how I feel disconnecting, and finally I see somebody else talking about it, and I'm like, yes, this is real. Let me just tell you that trying to figure out a lot of what's going on up here, I need a reality test. And so today I watched this and I'm like, I gotta let you know that I'm not crazy in this sense, all right? So emotional amnesia is not a clinical diagnosis, all right? But dissociative amnesia is. Emotional amnesia is when someone can remember events from their past but can't recall or reassess the feelings that went with the event. It can feel like your emotions got deleted from the memory file, leaving only dry facts. So this is what I've been telling you when I am able to talk about my past, talk about past relationships and everything, and people will be like, that means you still in love with them, you still, no. I can access different things about my childhood as well, events like a historical document, but I don't remember any of the pain or even joy behind certain things. I know that when I went to Disneyland when I was a kid, I was like the happiest ever. I know it, but I don't remember the feeling of it. Okay, so an example. You remember a breakup, but not the pain of it. You recall a childhood event, but blank out about the emotion. Or in the moment, something might have felt intense, but later it feels distant and unreal. So think about people who are in domestic violence situations and how you can block out the feeling that you had. Now, I'm not saying all of you, don't live in fear or anything, but some of you can block that out. Say you grew up in childhood trauma where you got your ass kicked all the time, right? So this is like same shit, different day. Yes, it hurt your feelings at the time and everything, but now you can remove yourself from how you feel or felt. And you can let this person keep coming back into your life. You're not dialing 911 and shit and being like, they come back with fucking flowers and sushi and fucking crying and shit or whatever, and you're just like, okay. Now, I don't know if this is, your thing, if there's a lot of other things compounded upon that. I'm sure complex trauma has a huge fucking part in this shit. But, I'm just saying. Just like also, I wrote this down, but like a murderer. I'm all thinking about people who go and unalive somebody, serial killers, and that they need to do it again because the intense feeling that they had in the moment, it's gone. They keep trophies and everything to remember the historical document that happened, but they can't hold on to the feelings. So they have to go out and do it again and relive it. And some people go and visit, sites and everything, and, like Ted Bundy and visiting the unalive bodies and stuff and doing nasty shit to them, but it's not the same. and he had a compulsion and had to do it over and over again. He can't hold on to the feeling. What's going on with my voice? Jesus. I'm turning into what the old chick on Golden Pond. Anyway. Okay, so psychologically, this usually comes from dissociation, trauma defenses, or emotional numbing. The brain is protecting you by separating what happened to you from how it felt. Think about people who are S8 or S8 as children, and how you just disassociate, you freeze, you go someplace else. Think of the movie Split, DID, where you fragment yourself into different personalities, okay? That way you don't get flooded by overwhelming feelings every time the memory comes up. This reminds me of avoidance and the need to control others, okay? So you push all of your feelings down and away. Also, like knowing that if I've been in this situation before, usually, you know, if you could not trust the love of your parents, or you had a very bad breakup in the past and you don't trust men or women anymore type thing, and you just close yourself off, okay? So over time, this safety mechanism can also make it hard to connect with your own emotions in the present, leading to a sense of emptiness, detachment, see, or lack of emotional depth. So on a side note, this is why we either lean into the dark side to fill that emptiness, or we do more positive associations, you know, get our Jesus on, go to therapy, or do some sort of self-improvement. But from personal experience, these things don't stick. You may even see other cluster Bs, how they keep changing up their identity. First, they were all into this. Now they're all into this. Maybe they change with different relationships or different friends. Okay? That's just my experience. Okay? So, how this shows up in personality disorders like NPD, ASPD, and schizoid traits. I'm sure borderlines have to deal with this too. Also, you know, you tell me. Because people with, like I said, complex PTSD, they're going to have difficulties with their own emotions as well. It's not always, now I'm super anxious, or I feel too much. Sometimes you're feeling too little. Okay? Instead of emotions being split off due to trauma overwhelm, they may be underdeveloped, blunted, or repressed. Remember, brains can also be born that way. Okay, traumatic brain injuries as well, genetics. The result, the person might struggle to access emotions in the first place, or feel them in short bursts but not retain the emotional charge. You know how sometimes your struggling partner, family member, whatever, they'll lash out to you, and then in a second they change back into another calm personality. This is, you know, what they're talking about in those short bursts, okay? So as an example, NPD, I remember being in love, but I don't actually feel what that was like anymore. This, maybe this could be why narcissistic people who are also coming back into your life, They remember how they felt, not how they felt, but they remember, the memory that you were very important to them, or that you loved them so much and that made them feel good about themselves, but now they're empty inside and everything, and they can't access that feeling anymore. So they're going to come back to you to try to relive it. Okay? I'm not saying this with everybody, but that sounds like it. All right? With antisocial personality disorder and psychopathy, I remember the situation, but I can't connect to what I was supposed to feel. This reminds me of also needing more supply from other people to boost their self-worth, or to have, impulsive fun experiences to alleviate boredom. All right? So what is the purpose? Sometimes it's armor to avoid vulnerability. Sometimes it's wiring to lower baseline of emotional arousal, and sometimes it's both. So how they differ. Trauma-based amnesia, feelings were there but got locked away. Personality-based amnesia, feelings may have been muted, confusing, or cut off by default, so there isn't much to remember. Refrigerators here. In both cases, the emotional Wi-Fi signal is weak. Either it got shut off in self-defense, or it never came in strong to begin with. Don't try harder to change them, okay? Change why you need to stay. Now, I always say, and it sounds very dismissive, that don't take these things personally, but I have also taken these things personally, because fuck you. What do you mean you're not going to have passion and shit for me? What do you mean you're going to be dismissive of my needs? What the fuck are you talking about? And this is why, I would split and take off from somebody else too. So I get it, but it really is not about you. Okay? These people doing this shit, it ain't about me. But I don't like being criticized. That's one of my problems. Yeah. Okay. So I hope that was helpful. Have a great day. Namaste.